What's poppin', y'all? We're finally getting kick-started with this David case, and we're going to get a lot more information in the future. And we've had a couple of bombshells dropped. The first one we're going to start off with is the medical examiner, because if you guys remember, TMZ was really getting into it with the LAPD because they had a source that was telling them certain information. LAPD was kind of disputing it, and then eventually they revealed that their source was the medical examiner. And the medical examiner put out their actual report. So now we can read it. And we're going to go through that first because it details how they found the body. We're going to talk about what they're alleging he did to the body, how the murder happened. And we're also going to go into the actual first day, which this stuff just gets more and more horrifying. And my statement that this is going to be worse than the OJ case, I'm standing on that, even though some of you guys disagreed. But we're going to get into that in a moment. So here it says in the body examination, I observed the decedent's posterior head and torso lying prone in a body bag inside the front trunk of a Tesla. Her head was oriented towards the north. She appeared an indeterminate age and ethnicity with dark hair and natural teeth. So he can't even tell the age, he or she that was observing this, cannot even tell the age when viewing this body. That's how long it had been decomposing for. She was wearing a tube top, underwear, leggings, and socks. I observed multiple holes in the front and back of the tube top. So were these gunshot wounds, were these stab wounds, front and back? She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. Underneath the body was a black trash bag that contained the decedent's apparent compiled bilateral arms and legs. They appear to have been dismembered into several fragments. This is the thing. Dismembered. That was the argument that TMZ was having because they were saying, wait, hold on. They're saying the body decomposed and fell apart, but we got information that tells us that it was dismembered, which means it was intentionally cut apart. The decedent was in an advanced state of decomposition demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction, insect activity. So there's insects, parasites somehow got their way into the front trunk of the Tesla. Well, I mean, it's not airtight. Partial skeletonization and skin slippage. This has my skin crawling, and it upsets my stomach. Imagine you open the trunk and you see this. This is horrifying. I noted an approximate 1-inch linear defect on her abdomen and a circular defect on her left flank. The left ring and pinky fingers appear to have been mutilated, and I did not locate them during my scene examination. So the fingers are cut off. This is, you know how if you've ever watched Dexter, you should watch Dexter, the original show. I don't know about all the other ones. I've watched one of the ones that have come out recently, but the original show, the guy would just take a sample of blood, the serial killer. They all had their own thing where they would take something that reminds them of the person or the people that they killed. And the guy Dexter, he would take a drop of blood from every person and put them into these blood slides. And everyone had their own thing. There is no reason to cut the fingers off. You could even potentially say, like, let's just take this into a twisted world of logic. Okay, he catches the body, right? And then he's like, okay, I got to get rid of this body somehow, right? You can follow that logic, right? He doesn't want to get caught. Okay, cut up the body, move the body somewhere, dispose of the body. That has nothing to do with cutting off fingers and keeping them on you, because the fingers would be on the body too. You wouldn't want to keep anything with you for evidence. So this is just some twisted stuff here. She has a tattoo that reads "shh" on the inside of her right index finger. I did not observe any other discernible scars or tattoos. And these are two images that show the information that we just looked over. So it shows where the left flank is. It shows where the stabbing happened. So they're saying that this guy stabbed her up, and then it has all of the different details, like multiple defects here. It shows the missing fingers. But some important details that TMZ brought up were the fact that they said the medical examiner used the word may, which is something the defense will jump on. It should also be noted that the medical examiner says there were multiple superficial linear abrasions on the right dorsal hand. It does not say whether or not these could be defensive wounds. So maybe she was trying to fight back, trying to hold the hands back, and then that's how she got sliced up. And the medical examiner says that the left and pinky rings were amputated, but the body showed that her right pointer finger with the tattoo was intact. This will also be an interesting issue at trial. The autopsy report says there is a presumptive positive for methamphetamine and MDMA, but there was another screening which says methamphetamine was inconclusive and MDMA was not detected. The report says Celeste may have had alcohol in her system, but it did not contribute to her death. Keep in mind, they were saying that it was April 23rd that the body she was first killed. And on April 24th, 2025, just hours after prosecutors said that he killed her, his management had an album release party in LA that started at 8 p.m. And this is the thing, like a lot of people will say, yo, this guy's sick and twisted. He just went like business as usual. I do think that the guy is sick and twisted, for sure. I mean, beyond sick and twisted. We're going to get into details of that later. However, if he started acting weird right now and canceled some of these things and didn't do them, I think a lot of people would be looking into it like, yo, what happened to this guy? What's going on here? But the ability for him to keep composure is very, very odd. That's why I think he's a complete psycho. And then it says David then likely took a red-eye flight to New York afterward. All of his managers were in Los Angeles for the party. And this is Steve Fisher, the guy that's been investigating this case a lot. The house that Celeste was lured to, according to prosecutors, was leased by his management company. So the question is, who knew what and when did they know it? Keep in mind, it says David took a red-eye flight to New York afterward. This was also mentioned by his friend at the time and collaborator. I'm not saying they're friends now. Live streamer, one of the biggest live streamers, Jason the Ween.
Situation
with David?
Yeah,
he didn't do it.
He's not a murderer?
No.
Thank God, bro, because I was still gonna listen to his music. I was just worried that I'd be an if I did.
No, listen, he didn't do it. He literally performed the next day. If he was a suspect, the police would have been after him. He's not a suspect.
He's not just escaping the police clutches?
No. And I'm gonna perform. We're gonna perform on the 20th, me and David.
In the Ween.
Let me do it. I'll make it. So
period.
Do you think David did it?
Do I think he's a murderer?
Yeah.
Can't rule him out.
Can't rule him out?
Can't rule him out.
Damn. No way. No.
You know what I did think was incredibly soft? I don't know if it's
how
true.
do you steal a Tesla though?
Huh? Wait, so you think it is him?
No, I don't think it's him.
Tesla?
I don't think it's him because he's been on tour.
No,
but also,
I don't think it's him either. I think it's like almost obviously not him. But what's weird is that Crocs dropped him.
Yeah, why would they do that?
That's weird.
Yeah, and Hollister. Like, what? Why would they do that? Guilty till proven innocent? No. Innocent till proven guilty.
So this was Jason the Ween in another clip saying, yo, he couldn't have done it. He had a show the next day, or he caught a flight the next day. Well, you shouldn't speak too soon. The house that Celeste was lured to was the same house that a lot of these people were throwing parties at. And then Steve Fisher goes on and says, so the question is, who knew what and when did they know it? April 23rd and 24th were not quiet, uneventful days or nights. David had just performed at Coachella. His album was being released, and a party was being held in his honor. There were people around him, and he was the center of attention. It's difficult to believe he had much time completely alone. So who knew what and when? If you attended the party, and this brings back any memory of David or others in his immediate circle acting unusually, if you were at the rental house, if you saw Celeste around April 23rd, 24th, please contact the LAPD Robbery Homicide Division. And then he's, reaching out to people saying, hey, look, you can talk to me. We got to get this case solved. And he even shows a text that was sent on April 24th, 2025, 6:33, a text blast. The host of Withered album release party. Party kicks off in 90 minutes. When you arrive at the 100 Thieves compound, this is a different building, though. Please enter the parking lot. So this isn't the same. This isn't a house. The 100 Thieves compound is somewhere else. But a lot of people had to be around the house and around David while this is going on. So where did he get the time to clean up all the blood? Because if we know now that it was a stabbing that happened, that means there was blood. Blood on his hands, blood on his t-shirt, blood on his clothes, blood dripping from wherever he had to have dragged the body. And nobody sees this. One thing that's very rare is for an artist to just be alone, especially an artist of this caliber. But things would get even worse because Traplo Ross, who showed up to the case, like this is going to be worse. That this guy is what they tried to label Diddy as. to be for real. Like, Diddy had nothing to do with kids whatsoever. But for some reason, that's attached to his name when people think, yo, I'm not into that Diddy stuff. No, that was Epstein, okay? But this guy, I'm just going to play you guys the clip right now.
And I want to be careful how I say this, but apparently he had illegal videos on his phone. And apparently there are so many illegal videos on his phone, they can't even send the videos and the upload through the cloud because these are illegal literally videos. I'm talking A minors. It's illegal for you to send these. It's illegal for you to watch these videos. So the discovery in this case is so sordid that he's then like the DA is struggling to even send the files around. Okay, and apparently there is so much discovery. There's like 40 terabytes of discovery. So much information. They've got all of his entire iCloud, and they're saying that it's so big that the courthouse system for sending discovery, for sending files, videos, documents is overwhelmed. They can't even send it. I think they said since David got arrested, they've only managed to upload about 30% of all of the terabytes that they have. They said they have all of his iCloud account, and they even said it was funny because they said, look, we need some storage. We either need to have an update of the online system so that we can transfer all of these files, or we need the defense to give us hard drives. And it was pretty funny because at one point, Blair Burke from the defense, they pulled out a hard drive and they said, well, we've got 5 terabytes for you here right there. And Beth Silverman said that ain't even nearly enough. 5 terabytes ain't gonna do nothing. We got 40 terabytes. And they said some of these files are so big, some of the files are 10 terabytes plus that you need an entire hard drive to even just put one file. Like, there's so much. So they got his whole iCloud. He's got illegal videos of minors that are apparently illegal to send. And for people to actually, in the defense, to go and look at those videos, they're gonna have to go to a special room in the courthouse and watch it on an approved computer, because you're not even allowed to load up this type of content on a device. It's illegal, all right? I don't want no parts of what they got going on with that. But also, apparently they had wiretaps on David. Apparently they had a wiretap going. I don't know how long for. I don't know if it was from when the crime happened, if it was even a period of time when, she went missing. It says they were investigating whether or not, that, like, there was already an open case related to Celeste and David, and apparently they had a wiretap on him, and apparently that is so extensive, the prosecution haven't even heard all of it yet, and they're basically waiting to have it skimmed through, because as well, they've got to be careful that nothing on that wiretap goes against attorney-client privilege. So that is likely to mean that that wiretap was probably recorded like during the period when David was still out here, but the crime was announced.
So Trap Lord Ross was there day one. They said this guy just walked out in the shackles, and this makes things even worse than we ever thought. Number one, we'll go through the end. This guy was wiretapped, and he was still yapping. This guy was, the fact that he didn't get a different phone, the fact that he didn't think to himself to, I don't know, use something that can't be wiretapped, something that's encrypted, to have conversations on. No, he just kept going business as usual. Makes me think that this guy was just stupid. Because one of the things that was stuck in my mind, and if you've been watching for a while, I'm thinking to myself, why the hell is he going through all of this to just leave a body to decompose for 4 months? How do you do that? Like, you don't even try to, drive off somewhere and dispose of it, dig a hole, do something. No, you just let it decompose. And nobody was even looking for her either. So this just makes me think that, the guy might just be dumb. And it was just a stroke of luck, I guess, that he was able to get this far. Probably because nobody cared to look for her. That's likely what allowed him to get away with it for this long. But I do think there were other people that were working with him. There's no way that he goes a day later or that same night, catches a flight to New York, and then what's the body doing at that point? You know what I'm saying? And then the CP on the phone. So this guy's got terabyte. They're talking about this guy's iCloud is full of it, so much so that they can't even send it, because sending it is a crime. Because Celeste, when he got with her, initially, she was like 11, 12, and even when she died, she was like, 13? So, and then keep in mind, Celeste may not be the only girl. There's probably several of them that are in that age range. And all of the material that he has of them, especially of that nature, are major crimes. Now, he hasn't been, because this would be a separate charge, and this would likely be a federal charge for possession of CP, or I don't think he distributed it, but possession of CP, and he hasn't been hit with that. He did get hit with the charges of continuous SA of the minor, which we covered in the previous video, and that's directly for Celeste. But he didn't delete any of these, although, yeah, he could have deleted them before they reached out and got the wiretap, because it takes time to get the wiretap. And he's doing all of this while the investigation is going on. And this is why I said that this guy is 100% worse than O.J. Simpson. Because think about it. Like, what did O.J., and this is going to be bigger than that. What did O.J. do? O.J., he caught a body on his wife, right? Like, and O.J. was like one of the most famous people in the U.S. at the time, and athlete and all that. Well, people kill their wives all the time in the criminal cases, right? That's why they look up, and wives will sometimes set up their husbands to be killed by somebody. I remember they caught somebody doing that in a TV show a long time ago. That's like a crime of passion, right? And they're married. He just so happened to be, but how often is it that even a regular person is with someone that is 11, 12, stays with them, and then catches that body, and then cuts that body up, and then disposes of the body, and then is on social media joking, and their brand is all about killing and caskets, and he's on tour. He's on tour with these caskets opening up, and he's doing funerals at every show. This is some stuff that you can only script in a horror movie. This is why I say reality is stranger than fiction. A fictional writer, somebody that's writing up a story for a show, they couldn't even come up with this, because they'd be like, that looks too fake. That wouldn't happen in real life. People wouldn't resonate with it. But here we have it happening in our real lives. This guy did it. And it's so sick and twisted that it does make me consider, who were this guy's friends, and how do you not see this? Especially if you're a close friend of his. Now, I do, like, for example, Jason the Ween, that guy, I don't believe that he was a close friend of his. I think he was a surface level friend, right? A collaborator. But if you knew this guy, if you were in Discord servers with him, if you were in group chats with him, and you saw his behavior and you didn't think like, yo, this is a guy that I want to get away from, I don't know, because this is somebody that's capable of doing something like this and holding all the CP. It was over. There was no way that this guy couldn't have killed her. That's the thing. Or he just screwed himself over from the beginning. Just getting involved, because what is she going to do? Stay silent her whole life? You can't pay off her silence forever. And that's why I cannot wait to see this guy get the worst of the worst. They're saying that the death penalty may be brought forth. I sincerely hope so. And I remember in a previous video, I was like, yo, I really don't like Spotify taking down music. And I still hold on to that. I wholeheartedly believe that music should not be taken down because of whatever reason. Like, allow the music to be there. That doesn't mean you promote it. That doesn't mean you tell people, you put it on playlist covers, cosigns, or anything like that. But it's the principle of it. Because once it's removed for this, and this is like the worst case scenario we have seen thus far, then you get to move the goalpost in whatever direction you want. It's not a principle anymore. However, me personally, like I said, I haven't listened to his music since then. And I was listening to his music before. I like this guy's music. I didn't listen to the Withered album, but the Red one was good. Was it Here With Me, the EP? That one was good. The Withered album, I never even checked that one out. But I can't listen to this guy's music. And R. Kelly is somebody whose music I can listen to. Who else can I think of? Yeah, that's probably the only person. Diddy, but Diddy was, let's keep it real here, like, Diddy was beating on Cassie, and that was that. That's a lot of rappers. NBA Youngboy, Famous Dex. Yeah, these guys are putting hands, paws, and feet on chicks. And that's not, like, this David stuff is so hard to stomach that I can't listen to the guy's music. I cannot look at the music the same. It's kind of like Frank Ocean, right? Like, some people, they just stopped listening to Frank Ocean. And they were like, yo, now, especially when he came out and said that, you know, he was gay and all that, they were just like, I'm just imagining a guy being sung about this whole time. I got taken out of my immersion of the whole, like, what I thought this was being represented as. And that's a similar thing with David, where it's like, now, when I'm listening to the music, This guy's talking about being heartbroken. This guy's talking about all this other stuff. And he's talking about somebody that's 11, 12, 13 that he's got illegal images of, illicit images of on his phone. I can't listen to that. Ain't no way. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there because this is the first time I've ever experienced that. Usually with music, I'm really not tripping off of what the artist, I separate the art from the artist. You know, I'm that kind of guy. And granted, most of these artists are crazy in one form or another. This guy is not crazy, though. I'm not throwing him in that loop. This guy is demented. He is twisted. This guy's a spawn. This is one of Satan's greatest soldiers. It's unironically. And we're only scratching the surface of what we're going to get. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.